Paul. Another week, and I guess the injury crisis, does it ease? Does it not ease?
It changes.
Yes.
Players come back. It's. I think we've had it twice before that I can remember in the last 10 years where we've had this level of injury regularity where you sort of get one after the other. We had it at the start of a season one year where all our midfield players were all injured all in one go. I think it was my second year at the club, and we had it also the year we were relegated in League One, where virtually the whole back four were out in one fell swoop. About sort of February, March time. But we've never had it quite like this, where it's literally just been one after the other in all positions. And we started the season very optimistic, and we still are in terms of looking at the season as a whole. But we are really in the territory of just get through from one game to the next. Try to look after the players during the week, and buy some time. Fortunately, there's only one game a week for a couple of weeks now. Buy some time. Try to pick up a win or two, and wait for the cavalry to return. And we're probably, 3 or 4 weeks off that particular scenario where the likes of Lee Holmes, David Wheeler, Troy, Archibald Henville, to name a few, will be back and available to play. It's one thing being fit to train, but actually being selectable in terms of 90 minutes, they're all a week or two away. So we go into this Saturday without Lee, without David, without both Troys. Troy Brown is now picked up a long-term injury. So
what sort of injury has Troy got, and what sort of prognosis do you have on how long you'll miss Troy Brown for?
Well, he's got a tear in an unusual sort of muscle stroke tendon that I've never heard of before, but in and around his pelvis, and there's every chance he'll be out for a considerable time. So by that I mean 2-3 months. Wow. So this is not a week, 10 days recovery. So it's a real big loss to us.
Are you handing out bulletproof vests to your centre halves?
Yeah, well.
It's that position. You've got one with a broken ankle. You've got Jordan Moore-Taylor, who kind of came back 2 weeks early when we'd think he wouldn't play. Troy, who's gone down. Troy Archibald Henville, who's down as well. And
it's been a challenging. I mean, I've never known a month like it, but hopefully we come through it. We get stronger for it. One or two players have had to really step into the team. Just talking like Piers Sweeney, who's arrived at the club and was added to the squad. He's played every game, and he's come in and been a focal point within the defence. So well done him. And it's happened before. Players drop in. I mean, I remember that particular season 9 years ago where we signed Matt Taylor, and Matt wasn't in my plans to play in the first team straight away. And then Danny Seaborn got injured in a pre-season friendly at Bodmin, and Matt was straight in and never came out the side. And that's how it works sometimes. And you have to. There's always a silver lining somewhere. So I think we just try to get through the next 2 or 3 weeks. We've got enough players to put a good 11 out. We haven't got a lot of depth. We haven't got a lot of opportunity to change things. And I think the biggest problem, of course, has been fatigue. Is one thing getting through a game. It's when you've got the regularity of another game, Saturday, Tuesday, you put players at risk. And there's the odd player who ordinarily you'd want to rest has had to play. So, we like I say, 2 or 3 weeks, then the cavalry hopefully will return. That David Wheeler, Lee Holmes, Troy Archibald Henville, Craig Woodman, and hopefully we can. I think say Troy Brown and Jordan Tilson. Yeah. But Tom McCready also hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So we should be getting 3 or 4 back soonish, hopefully.
There is light at the end of the tunnel, which is good, isn't it? And I guess the frustrating thing for you is not just about consistency of picking a team. It must also be to do with training as well, because you will do drills and you will set things up with a certain formation or a certain way of playing in mind, and then when player A or B drops out of that for injury reasons, you have to reshuffle the whole pack again.
Yeah, well, I mean, without digging too deep and becoming too miserable, because ultimately it's a game of football and all these players should be good enough to play. We do prefer, us managers, coaches, players, to have some kind of continuity, and the one thing I haven't been able to do over the past 9 games has been able to put a back four out from one game to the next, and it's the one part of your team you actually do want to have some consistency and some familiarity and work the units and distances and connection and all those things make such a big difference, and we haven't been able to do that. So that's life. We won't be the only team going through this year. There'll be other teams. Hopefully we're getting ours out the way early, and like I say, we've got 5 games in September. We've just won 1 out of them, 1 out of 1. If we can win another couple, and you then get through this month, and then we're back into our season. That's the target for the players.
How positive was it for the group to get that first victory up at Colchester? Because I think if you looked at the odds, and you looked at what people would have thought is a side that come down from League One away from home, despite Exeter's good away record, with Exeter's injuries, people would probably not really have backed you to get a victory. But to come away with a victory, what did it do for the morale and things in the squad?
Well, there are times when we lose a game, and I'll say, well, I'm urging the players that this let it be no more than just the 3 points. We've lost 3 points, but it shouldn't be any more than that. We shouldn't lose any confidence. It's 3 points gone. We wanted them. This was a different type of game. It's more than just 3 points. It was. We wanted to gain the 3 points, and we won them, and we held on at the end, and we did fantastic to come back from 2-1 down, and we in many ways we deserved our win. But in terms of the morale and where we sit in the league and the pressure and how it makes people feel, when you feel better, your body responds better. I mean, there's always a very, very intangible link between your mindset and how you feel and how your body performs. So for everyone to get the win, have a week's rest for once, come at the back of 3 points, was a really big day for us. So yes, it was big, but in football terms, you move on to the next very quickly. So we move on now to Crewe, and we're pleased we won last week, but now it's gone, and it's about the next 3 points that's at stake. They haven't lost at home this year. They've picked up 5 results out of 6. They've come down from the league above, so they're a recently performing League One team. They've got continuity at the club, a manager that's been in situ for a while. They've got a style of playing, and they've got an identity. And it's early season for me to start picking on teams with certain strengths, and no matter what the league will be, it will take me 10-15 games to get a feel for that. It might be someone that's mid-table, 15 games in, that we're thinking, yeah, this is a strong team. So it's early days. It's early days for me to other than they're at home, they want the 3 points as much as we do. So it's a bit of a cliche, but we have to be good ourselves and be strong with what we do, and then we'll take them on with however the game presents itself.